Trump is tapping conservative San Francisco attorney Harmeet Dhillon to the powerful position. The Indian-born immigrant is known as a culture warrior and has been active in Republican politics for years now. Sources tell CNN she is part of incoming new leadership at the DOJ that is preparing to go on what's being called an anti-woke offensive against diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives. Joining me right now to talk more about this pick and what it means for the Justice Department is Joe Garofoli. He is a senior political writer for the San Francisco Chronicle and recently wrote an article on Dhillon. Joe, great to see you. Am I pronouncing her name right, Dhillon?
Dhillon, yes.
Okay, very good. All right, so Trump's Justice Department, is preparing what's being called an anti-woke offensive against diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives. How is it trying to rework the Justice Department's Civil Rights Division exactly?
Well, that's what Harmeet's specialty has been in California. That's how she kind of got on the Trump radar. I mean, I don't think any of us had Trump picking a San Francisco attorney to be in his inner circle on their bingo card, but
right.
But she is no typical San Francisco attorney. A couple of quick fun facts about her. First of all, she's a former board member of the ACLU here in California, Northern California, which of course is anathema to Republicans. But she was doing it to represent her fellow Sikhs who were facing a lot of xenophobic discrimination after 9/11. That was a couple decades ago. She also contributed $250 to Kamala Harris's first campaign. She said, in San Francisco, she said, you have to pick the most conservative, the more conservative candidate. And in that race, her first race for DA, Harris was the more conservative. And she was originally not a Trumper. She was more in the Ted Cruz camp. So these are things you probably won't see in the White House biography of Dhillon. But she ran for office a couple times here in California. She lost. It's next to impossible for a Republican to win here. And then, but how she got on the MAGA radar, the Trump radar, was taking on these cases, as you said, sort of aimed at skewering woke practices in California, so for example, she she represented a parent in the South Bay here near San Jose, who was concerned that that the school had not told her that their child wanted to be known by different pronouns and different name. And, and she said she accused the school districts and teachers of brainwashing kids to be transgender. The school district actually settled that case for $100,000. I think they gave to the family. She also took on UC Berkeley and said that they were discriminating against conservative speakers by having them speak in daytime hours and on remote parts of campus. And she again settled. She won maybe 70 grand, I think it was, from the UC Berkeley. And she also represented the family of the Hastings, descendants of the Hastings family. Used to be called UC Hastings Law School. Folks here wanted to change that because of Hastings was involved in some racism back in the day, 100 years ago. And so the name change was there, and she represented the family on that one. And she said it was sort of she was opposing cancel culture in that way. So she is a culture warrior through and through. She is, I think the things that she's going to face in her confirmation hearing are definitely the transgender issues where she's represented families. Mm-hmm. And she's also going to face it for her representation of Trump in a lot of the alleged election interference cases, which of course there was no findings of widespread election fraud, but she was representing Trump in a lot of states, Arizona among them. And even she was dispatched to Arizona this year to sort of prepare for any possible election cases they brought there. So she is very devoted to Trump. She was I saw her coming out of a fundraiser at the home of David Sachs, another San Franciscan in the Trump inner circle, Sachs is going to be his crypto and AI czar. Mm-hmm. And fundraiser at his house here in Billionaires Row in San Francisco, where they raised $11 million for Trump. A lot of crypto magnates were there, and Harmeet was there. So she is very much in the Trump inner circle now. He definitely he definitely trusts her and often speaks very highly of her because she is very smart. She was admitted to Dartmouth when she was 16.
Oh
so yes, she is super smart. But it's the Civil Rights Division of the Justice Department will definitely have a different tone.
Right. I mean, it's so fascinating all that you just expressed with the background, especially, Trump had a whole lot of criticism for San Francisco by way of Kamala Harris and so many other ways, overall, and now, this pick. So in terms of the role with the Civil Rights Division, I mean, isn't it the goal or the mission of the Civil Rights Division, to be focused on equality, not leveraging, but leveling the playing fields that have historically been uneven and discriminatory. So does this mean with her appointment that there is a new goal or even a rewriting of something that is called the Civil Rights Division? I mean, given the background that you just conveyed for us for her?
Right. I would expect that you're going to see, when we talked to Erwin Chemerinsky, the dean of the UC Berkeley Law School, highly respected, nationally respected legal scholar, and he said, she's very conservative, obviously, and she's not a civil rights attorney in the traditional sense, like we're thinking of Dr. King. She is it's a very conservative perspective. We're going to see this. So, and in the past, we've seen the Justice Department advocating for voting rights issues, to expand the ability for voters in the various states and make it more egalitarian. You might see that coming from a conservative perspective, and that's one major way that you'll see some changes. And also on transgender issues, where the department previously has been in trying to support the rights of transgender youth, and in particular, you're going to see it coming from the parental perspective, or as Republican conservatives call it here in California, parental rights. So that's the philosophy she's going to be importing to the Civil Rights Division of the Justice Department.
All right, her name is Harmeet Dhillon, and I guess folks are going to learn a lot more about her if indeed she becomes, the leader of that Civil Rights Division with the DOJ.
She'll be regular on the show.
Right.